commercial break right now, but we're going to be coming to have a conversation. So hope you are ready for us. You're ready?
I'm very, very ready.
All right. Yeah, we're talking about the Kid Monitor. We're going to be having that discussion. The CEO of Kid Monitor. So we're going to talk about that a bit, what it's all about, and how people can get involved. Then we can just go into conversations of other things relating to children and how it all started. You understand?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Good. 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 So just give us a few seconds, and we'll be live on air.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the Good Morning Naija show. We just concluded the newspaper review with Ezugu Chukudi, and I believe say Ona really gets a one or two to take away from that. If you're just joining us, well, you missed out on the top stories and the newspaper review, but don't be frightened. We're moving on to something very, very, very interesting, and you need to be part of. This is we're going to be having a conversation with a very exceptional individual. He goes by the name Mr. Bukola Akano, and he's the CEO of Kid Monitor. He's a proprietor of Solid Foundation Children's School. So welcome to the show, Mr. Akano. Welcome to the show.
I'm very delighted to be here. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Now, let's even start from the beginning. Let's have a conversation from the beginning. Children, you know, they say people who could take care of children can really change the world because it's not easy to take care of kids. You know, it's a lot of work put in. But let's start from your perspective now. Kid Monitor, how is that? Let's start from there. You're the CEO of Kid Monitor. What's Kid Monitor about?
All right. Basically, the Kid Monitor service is designed in such a way to ensure that there's safety of kids in between the school and the
Yes.
home. A lot of people just assume that when you send the child to school, he's there. Or when he's coming back, he does not have any other place he has been to before he gets back home. But most of the time, the vices, the bad things that happen to these kids don't even happen in the school. They happen in between. You have the issue of the kidnapping. It's right at about the time the child's about to leave school, you have someone who is not authorized that comes to pick up the child.
Yes.
Or in the time when the child's meant to go straight home, he goes to a point B, which is has zero supervision whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You will have things like teenage pregnancy occurring. So the kid monitor here is supposed to ensure that there's a complete transaction loop between the parent and the school, making sure that that loophole between that pickup and drop off is well taken care of by proper documentation. So once a child gets to school, just like the way we have in the banking sector, when you have a person come to the bank to make a deposit into the bank, the parents get an alert stating that this is the time. The parents get an alert that this is the time the child arrived at school.
Okay.
So if there's any discrepancy, for example, I expect my child to be in school in 30 minutes. He left home at 7 o'clock and is getting to school in 1 hour. That means something happened for 30 minutes that I need to be able to find out. Most of these vices don't just occur out of the blue. It's because nobody's keeping track of this timing. So the idea of the kid monitor here is to ensure that once the child gets to school, the parents are aware of time. Once the child has left, their parents are aware so that they can be able to keep tabs of this. We've also done some modifications to also ensure that the security angle also is there. When the device takes a picture of who came to pick up the child when it comes to the issue of toddlers, so that if there's any problem, you have a face to match to the whole issue, not just
Okay.
hearsay.
Yeah.
Biometric evidence that this is the young man that came to pick up the child, and this was the time he came up to pick up this child. It's as simple as that.
Beautiful. So what prompted this this initiative for you? What prompted it? Seeing the fact that you are a proprietor of a school, was it a personal situation that prompted this new innovation, or how did it come about?
It was a personal problem. Actually, I like to call myself a second generation proprietor.
Okay.
My school is almost as old as I am. My mom started the school in the first place. And a couple of years, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I came in to take over M's of affairs in the school.
Okay.
And I had a particular child who was given his school fees. My area is one of the best areas. My school is in Ajegunle. And this child was given his school fees. Go ahead, pay your school fees. And he went to all these lucky places. I went to place a bet with his school fees.
Wow.
So he could not come to school because he had blown the school fees, but he could not stay at home. This boy was in basic 6, primary 6. So when we didn't see him for a couple of days, we contacted the mother. We have not seen your child in a couple of days. Her response was very shocking for me. She said, the boy is in school. That he from this morning and he has left. And the boy is not in school. He has not been in school for 3 days. So later we found out, I was like, wow, this is very funny because this child, anything could happen. We don't even know where he was going to.
Yeah.
The mom has assumed he was in school, and we just assumed he was still at home. So I just put something together to just have a digital receipt to the mother. See, this is when I took custody of your child. And this is the time he has left my custody. And that's how it actually started. I didn't even have a business angle to it. I just wanted to solve that problem. And a few schools saw the idea and they came on board. And right now we have roughly about 90 schools nationwide running the service.
So as it is now, like you said, you have over 90 schools running the service nationwide.
Yes.
How has it been, the acceptability of this new innovation to the schools and to the parents? Have they been accepting it well? Have they seen it as a better development? Or have you had the cases where parents would frown at it and like, no, I don't want to get involved, though. Just do the normal way we have been doing before? Has that ever happened?
I can say clearly that over 90% of the parents were very excited about it. It was not easy to get them. You know, when you come with a new technology or new idea, a lot of people don't just take it hook, line and sinker. You have to get people to try it out and get feedback. And for the past 5 years, we've been running it. In the first 2 years was really hard, but when we got feedbacks, we kept on improving. We have currently the version 4. Because as I built the first one, there was some flaws. People gave me feedbacks. I was able to develop version 2. Some students were able to beat version 2, so we brought version 3. They still were able to beat version 3, and we came out with version 4 last year, and that's the current version right now. So far, they have not been able to beat version 4 for now.
Well, I like the conversation of how you were taking it. You said they were able to beat. Now, is it that they were able to hack it? Is it that they were able to beat the system? What were they doing that made you always want to reevaluate it and make it, make a new version of what you have? What were the students doing?
The first versions we came out with, the students, especially in secondary school, really kicked against it. The students themselves, not the parents, because they knew that with this now, the parents could now actually monitor how they moved. They could not lie about they were doing something extra in school or they had an extra assignment they were having to do in school. So version 1 basically was just the use of a smart card.
Okay.
So what they now did was that when you get to the school, they say, I don't have my smart card on me. So if you don't have a smart card, you cannot use the device. So you cannot even tell what time I came to school. Yes. So we came out by adding the fingerprints to the option.
Okay.
So if you had your smart card or the fingerprint, you could be able to use any of the two. Yeah. We now discover that in version 2, the students tried to use their fingers they tried to ensure that their fingers were really dirty so the device could not read it. So
Are
we
you
came with version
serious?
3 that
Okay.
had the option of a PIN code. So if you did not have
The smart
the
card.
smart card and your
Yeah.
fingers were dirty, you know
Yeah.
your PIN code. They also said that they were forgetting their PIN code. So
Interesting.
we came up with version 4, which now has the smart card, the fingerprint, the PIN code, and facial recognition. You
Wow.
cannot forget your face
You
at
can't
home.
forget your face. Wow. So
So
you had to go through these measures to make sure that
exactly,
it was secure. Amazing.
exactly.
Now, on the back end of this, or is it that how secure is this is this device or this innovation
Okay.
to you on the back end? Is it that can anyone access it? Because I'm sure you're giving a level of access to the parent from
Yes.
home so that they can know where their child is or what their child is doing at a particular time. So how secure is it? Can
All
it be, altered from anywhere else?
all right. So what we've done, step one, is that we're not using the internet for any of these issues.
Okay.
It is an
Okay.
SMS, is a text message. So you can't just log in somewhere and make some things work. It's an SMS and a text. The second thing we've done is that we have a three-key system. That means all the information are not stored in one location. We have
Okay.
some of it stored on the device, physical the school. We have some of it stored on the cloud and some on the physical server. All these three things have to be in sync before you can be able to hack it. That means it's going to be very, very difficult. That means person has to go to the school, steal the device,
Yes.
hack our cloud server, then break in physically to our head office here in Accra before he can do anything of that nature.
Any altering. Okay.
So we've made sure that
Interesting.
we have a three-key system. You have to have all the three keys together before you can even make any changes. I don't even have access to the three. As the CEO, I have just access to two.
Mm. Mm. Okay,
That's how
so
we
I,
do it.
I would like to know, you mentioned that there's a device you put in the schools. So it's
Yes.
just a device you put in each school, and the students get to have the smart cards and the PIN
The
codes
biometrics.
and that.
The biometrics.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so it's a single device put in every school.
exactly.
Okay, so you link that device to the parents' phones to get the text messaging.
Exactly.
Hmm, hmm. Okay, but has it been in a case where the device gets, the students, do play a prank on the device or they spoil it, they damage the device in the school? How do you sort that out as soon as possible so that you don't have days before the students can, okay, you get it back and running?
Very good.
Do you have an on-ground team in the school who can handle that, or how does that work?
What we do is as soon as there's an issue with your device, you contact the company, we send another device immediately. So it just takes as long as a new device will leave from the company to your location.
Okay.
So within if it's in Lagos, within 2, 3 hours, we've replaced. And because there's a way, because the system has a three-key system already, part of the
Yes.
information is on ground already. So all you just have to just do is, so like the smart card, for example, will
Mm-hmm.
start to work immediately. They will just have to register the biometrics for the students. But basically, it does not take a whole day for us to get, even if they physically destroy the device.
Yes.
Yes, it takes
So
a couple of
it
hours.
it takes a couple of hours for it to be up and running again. Now,
Exactly.
it's good that these measures are being put in place, because when you started off by saying there was a test type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and the reasons why these new versions were coming out, I was really concerned. So as it stands now, they've not been able to beat type 4, according to what you
Exactly.
said. So
We 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 tested. We started this device and service in the toughest of areas. I told you my school is in Ajigunle.
in
We have
Ajegule.
about 8 schools in, yes. We have about 8 schools in Ajigunle running this currently, and we keep tabs of everybody. So if there's any slight notice that there's something that's not adding up, the
Yes.
first thing we try to do is start working. We're working on version 5, but it's not because we
Okay.
are beating version 4. Version
Okay.
5 will have a temperature reader in it. Just so you can check the temperature as you're taking the attendance, the temperature is also taken instantly too. But it's still
Okay.
in the prototype stage. We have not released version 5 yet.
Yeah, and I would say, and I would like to know why you decided to put a temperature monitor. Is it because of the coronavirus pandemic situation right now? That's why you
Not
put a temperature monitor.
necessarily. We also notice that some parents know that their kids are sick and still bring them to school.
Okay. Okay.
The pandemic was one of the things that, why a lot of people will not want us to have the kids coming in school when they are sick. So it's good to have something at the gate. Since the device stays at the gate, this is the first point of contact for every child. So
Every
when you
child,
come
yes.
in, your temperature is taken at the same time while you take your attendance. And once you are flagged, the prototype is supposed to indicate it's an alarm that blows. See, this person has an abnormal temperature. Basically means that don't admit him to school. But
Now,
it's still in the prototype stage. We've
it's
not
still in the
released that
prototype.
yet.
Now, seeing the fact that you said it is not internet-based, so which means it can't be hacked via the internet. Yeah, that's what you
Exactly.
said. It runs
Exactly.
on the SSD code
Using the SIM card, yes.
SMS, the SIM card. Okay, fine.
Exactly.
So as it is right now, we are looking at the new normal in the world, seeing how things are evolving due to the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of things are changing from learning. Even from learning, it's more of e-learning right now, and coming up with innovations like this, technology. So how important would you say it is for schools to adopt technology into the learning process for the kids?
Generally, technology helps make things easier. There's no doubt that if technology is incorporated into the day-to-day activities in the school, it will make things easy. But the challenges that face us uniquely as Nigerians is that we have some infrastructural deficiencies, power,
True.
the internet, and most of these things make it hard to be able to switch completely from a typical classroom to the e-classroom completely,
Yeah.
because a lot of things are dependent on power and interconnectivity. We are actually trying to design something in such a way that you have a free Wi-Fi zone, similar to what we have in the universities, where devices can get to connect, but not necessarily require the internet. But the limitations for this is that this is just also things that are localized. So they have maybe a maximum of maybe 500 to 1 kilometer radius, which means that if you are beyond that distance, you may
You
not be
can
able to
access it.
connect.
Yeah.
Yes, but the challenge also that okay, even if we have this in place, power is a very very fundamental part of this whole thing. No light, no technology.
So what would you say how has it been for this innovation, government participation, seeing as it is the government participation? Has the government been involved? Have they seen this as, have you pushed this to the government to buy into it as an innovation forward, moving forward into the educational sector? Have you had the conversation like that?
We have
And how
not
has it
had the
been?
chance to because practically the bureaucracy in Nigeria is very funny. Uh, in schools, we have installed this in the quality assurance officers who are called to do inspections in the school have seen and they've applauded. But that's all. They just applaud and they don't feel that it's something that we need to push forward. I don't know why. We have tried to see how to get government intervention in this, and because I feel my dream is to have this installed in as many schools as possible. I understand the menace that happens after school hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes you walk around, you see children still in their school uniform, just going about, getting involved in fights, getting involved in things they should not be getting involved with. And this is painful for me as a person, and like one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this. But so far, so good. Government has not even given any form. I've applied for grants. I've applied for. I had to go through nerve-breaking financial decisions to be able to get where I am right now.
Yeah.
And still, I applied to the Bank of Industry several times, sent out my business plan, explained about the necessity of this technology. We didn't hear anything from them. So I had to do what I need to do as a young entrepreneur, fund it myself without any form of financial assistance.
Hmm. So I would have asked this earlier, but how long does it take you to, how did it take you to create this device or this innovation? How long did it take you? Because seeing that you had to really change the versions from one to another, one to four, and how long did it take you to put this together? And the durability of this device, because I believe that some schools would ask you this, saying, okay, well,
Okay.
if we want to invest in this, how long would it be durable for? Do we have to always change change it to a newer device every given year, or how does it work? How long is the durability?
All right. Um, my first client, that's Docas Memorial School here in Ajigunle, came on board almost 5 years ago,
Okay.
and they're still running till date. We've not had any issues. Uh, what we've just done that anytime we had to do any upgrade, just let them know. They're currently still using version 2.0,
Okay.
and 2.0 is still working till date. So, in terms of durability, we have factored a lot of things into it. For example, uh, I talked about the issue of power.
Yeah.
We built in a lithium battery pack that can last for 3 days if there's no power, once it's fully charged, because we know that power could be an excuse.
Yes, I was
So
going to ask that too. Yes.
exactly. So we've looked into all of this, and we can version one is what I'm still using in my school because I can monitor it. But I'm still using version one, and I'm not having any issues with it. And so far, so good. Yes, there's some one or two times we have issue with batteries and things like that. But apart from that, so we also make sure that we do after sales service because practically, if the service does not run, we don't make any money.
True.
So it does not make sense for us to have you get a device that doesn't work.
That doesn't work. Okay. So so far, you said most of the schools you've pitched this to have welcomed it, and you said over 90 schools across the nation have been in acceptance of this new innovation. But now, seeing that you're based in Lagos and there are other schools all around the country, do you have other stations in other states who are also going to be making sure other schools in those states are well serviced, or do they all fall back to the headquarters here in Lagos like you are handling? Is that the case?
No, we currently have representatives in Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan
Okay.
currently, and they have the task their customer relation officers who take care of each of the schools within their zones. Because
Mm.
currently the schools we have are in Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kaduna, Ibadan, and mostly in Lagos. Because I'm here, so most of the schools are in Lagos here. Uh, but we still want to grow into other geopolitical zones. We're looking at Sokoto and Maiduguri because we have some interested clients that is coming from that axis.
Hmm.
But like I said, funding is funding. You cannot set up an office without money,
Without
and we
money.
have to, gradually coming from where we are.
Hmm.
It's not easy.
Mm. All right, so it's been a very, very insightful conversation, Mr. Bukola Akano. And I would like to ask, just a final question. What other part of education would you suggest technology rule over? Like if you were to create some other kind of app or another kind of innovation that could help education in technology aspects, which other aspect would you want to create something regarding?
Okay. Um, Most people are already doing some of the things I have in mind. Uh, they I would have preferred having the e-classrooms recorded.
Recorded. Okay.
When I look back to when I was in school, I wish sometimes I didn't have to pick up my book to read again. I just need to just listen to my teacher one more time,
Mm.
so that I could actually go play back. I get the explanation because the textbook cannot be as um I wouldn't be as would explain as much as my teacher would like to do.
Mm.
So if it was a way I could record my class, then be able to go back home in the evening and relive my school again, take out notes. Maybe when I was in class, there was a distraction, it was hot, or maybe I
Yeah.
missed one or two things. I could
Yeah.
go back again and do that. I would have loved something of such.
Hmm.
So, but
Amazing.
not just anybody, but just my class. If the schools could have that installed, so they have more of like an FTP server where they could have the classes recorded real time,
Hmm.
and also in Lagos, the issue of having floods and people not being able to come to school, if we could have those classes recorded and they could come back to that later on, so they don't actually miss school. They're not in school, but the teacher can still get the classroom experience later on, either via the school website or something,
Hmm.
something of the nature. I would
Hmm.
have loved something like that to be possible.
Amazing, amazing. It's very, very, it's good. When you said it, I even thought about it. It would be a good idea to watch and relive your class experience again when you get home. That way you can take down notes and you wouldn't miss anything because you are not distracted. Thank you very much, Mr. Abukola Akano, for this conversation. And we're hoping that this great innovation would make a change and make the actual change that you wanted to make. Thank you for your time on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we've been speaking with Mr. Bukola Akano. He's the CEO of Kid Monitor. And